Good morning, students. Again, we are back with history and political science of standard ninth, and today we are going to learn the second lesson in the political science, that is India's foreign policy. Now, what is this India's foreign policy? Let us try to understand properly. Okay, foreign policy means we are having some policies when in relation to trade with the others or in any other relations, okay, with others. There is some policy for this one, so that people cannot come from that place over here, we cannot go from your place to another, or if they are coming, what things they can bring, what things they should not bring, and all there are restrictions. So when we travel from one place to another, we know that certain things are there. So there are certain foreign policies for the people coming from abroad over here, and for us who are going abroad. Okay, what is that we shall learn? What are we going to learn in this chapter? We have got introduced to the international system and its nature, and the Cold War in the last century and its effects. We shall now get introduced to other related issues. Thus, we shall learn about the meaning of foreign policy, factors that make an impact on it, and the nature of India's foreign policy. Now, meaning and importance. All countries are members of the international system. We have already studied that none of these countries is completely self reliant, and hence there is mutual interdependence in the international system. Only this interdependence should not be of benefit to a few countries. Efforts need to be made to ensure that it benefits every nation. Each country has to decide the nations with which it should be friendly, in which bloc it should participate, or what position it should take in international relations. Such decisions should be made thoughtfully. The theoretical framework in which such decisions are taken is called foreign policy. Every sovereign and independent country decides its own foreign policy. Hence, in the discipline of international politics, which studies the international relations between nations, foreign policy has an important place. And you all know that no country is self reliant, but our Prime Minister today speaks about self-reliant, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat. And for this Independence Day, that is the 74th Independence Day, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke about self-reliant, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat. That means to be self-reliant. But as you have heard, that no country is self-reliant. Everyone needs another person's help. Okay, so what do you mean by self-reliant? That you have your own things. You take the raw materials from others, but again for raw materials we have to depend on others, and you prepare the finished goods. Now what we are doing, most of the finished goods we are taking from outside, but now we are trying to produce all the finished goods in our country. Okay, that is why the main thing speaks about skill development. National interest. We have briefly understood what foreign policy means. National interest and foreign policy are closely connected to each other. National interest is fostered through foreign policy. Therefore, before studying foreign policy further, we need to understand the meaning and significance of national interest. Now, whatever is good for our country only, then only based on that we prepare our foreign policies. So many ministers, prime ministers from Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru have gone till today Narendra Modi. All have in their own ways thought of the interest of our country. All have thought of the interest of our country. All the prime ministers have thought of the interest of our country, and they in their own way have prepared foreign policies which was good for them at that time. What was good at that time may not be good at this time. So according to the times have changed. So we are adapting our foreign policies according to the changing times. So what they have done is the best at that moment what they felt. What we are doing now is best what we feel at this time. So we cannot blame anyone and everyone. National interest implies the means through which the independence and sovereignty of our country can be safeguarded. National interest also includes efforts to achieve our economic development and to take steps towards increasing our national power. When decisions are taken after giving a careful thought to what is beneficial and good for our country, we say that we are nurturing our national interest. In this sense, the following factors are included in the national interest of any country. Defense, that is the protection of our country's independence. sovereignty and integrity is the highest national interest. So first thing is defense, protecting our country from all the enemy nations, those who are trying to disturb peace and harmony in our country. At present we are dealing with we have certain foreign policies in regard with Pakistan and China. Economic development is also an important national interest. An economically weak nation will not be able to maintain its independence. Hence, economic development is understood to be an important national interest next only to defense. Yes, economy is also very much important. And now you know, at present due to pandemic COVID-19, our economy has been got a thorough beating. Okay, and our ministers, cabinet ministers, finance ministers are all striving to boom the economy once again. National interest and foreign policy. Foreign policy is drawn up to foster the national interest of defense and economic development. National interest is considered to be the goal, and foreign policy is considered to be the means to achieve it. Goals of nations change with changes in conditions and time. Accordingly, national interest also changes. These changes are reflected in the foreign policy. Therefore, foreign policy is always dynamic. Foreign policy decides what kind of relations to have with which country in the international system, but several factors affect foreign policy while it is being decided. Now, what is that? We shall see. First is the geographical location. You must have seen the globe or map of the world. You can see the geographical location of any nation from that. Some countries are far away from other countries, while there are several neighboring countries around some countries. Some nations have a long coastline, while some have plenty of mineral wealth. In some, the size, population, topography, coastline, availability of natural resources, all these factors need to be considered while deciding the foreign policy of any country. Geographical location is very much important. Second is political system. In a democratic political system, the nation's parliament plays a major role in evolving foreign policy. When different aspects come up for discussion in parliament, the opposition parties try to regulate the foreign policy by raising questions about the same. This is in democratic nations, because there is party system, okay, the ruling party and well as the opposition party. So both have to speak out and come out with a common consensus for a good foreign policy. Federal political systems have to take into account the inclinations of the constituent states while shaping foreign policy, because the affairs in neighboring nations affect constituent states. For example, events in Sri Lanka may affect Tamil Nadu, and those in Bangladesh may affect West Bengal and the Northeast Indian states. Yes, why it is Sri Lanka may affect Tamil Nadu? Because of the Tamilians in Tamil Nadu. Bangladesh, West Bengal, because Bengalis. Okay, and many of them have come from Bangladesh to West Bengal and Northeast Indian states, that is Mizoram, Nagaland, and all. Third is economy. In modern times, the economic the economic conditions of any country has acquired great importance in deciding foreign policy. As a result, the economy impacts foreign policy in two ways. How the economy affects the foreign policy in two ways? Let us see. First way is foreign policy is shaped by the need to establish economic relations with other countries. Import, export, participation in world trade, all aimed at strengthening the economy of the country. Second, in today's world, the issues of economic security are as important as national security. A country is recognized to be powerful in proportion to the economic security it enjoys. Countries having a strong economy are less dependent on others, and they can have an independent foreign policy as well. Okay, economic security is very much important. Fourth, national leadership. The president, the prime minister, the foreign minister, the defense minister, the finance minister, and the home minister have a role in deciding foreign policy. Okay, who? President, prime minister, foreign minister, defense minister, and finance minister, and the home minister, okay, have a role in deciding foreign policy. The person holding these positions try to maintain the continuity in foreign policy and to improve upon it. For example, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru contributed to the policy of non-alignment to India's foreign policy. Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee contributed a great deal to improving Sino-Indian relations, China-India relations. Okay, and then the fifth one is the administrative factors. Ministry of External Affairs, Foreign Secretary, embassies in different countries, diplomatic officers, etc., are the administrative factors involved in creating foreign policy. Even though the final decision about foreign policy are taken by the Prime Minister and the Minister of External Affairs, the administrative machinery helps to arrive at that decisions. Okay, now these ministers, those are their Foreign Secretary, External Affairs, embassies in different countries, diplomatic officers, they are the ones who guide the Prime Minister and the Minister of External Affairs. And these people help each other, help them to take a decision. The administrative officers collect information needed to shape the foreign policy, analyze it, and give appropriate advice based on it. The National Security Advisor also completes this task. Okay, National Security Advisor also completes this task. He is also very much important to tell the Prime Minister about the security of the country. So with this we finish the first part. Second part of regarding India's foreign policy we shall learn in the second part of the lesson. Thank you.